Hello, and welcome back to Tiny Artist TV, and yet another color palette challenge video. I do hope you guys aren't getting tired of this series. I've been enjoying working through all of these color palettes that I have. I know it can get kind of repetitive seeing the same video title several videos in a row now, but the characters are always different, and you don't know what I'm going to draw, and sometimes there's a theme to it. So I do hope you guys have been enjoying this series. So I'm doing 3 sets of 3. Last week I did the first set of 3, so this will be the second set of 3 to get up to number 40 to get back to an even number, and after that I will do another group of possibly 10. I'll find a theme for that somehow, somewhere. But for now, let's go ahead and draw up our colors for the second set of 3, and we're gonna go ahead to the number generator. I've already got it loaded with 115. So our first palette for today is going to be 11, just blackberry. Number 11 is actually gingerbread house, so I will fix that once I start drawing. I'm gonna mark these in, let's see, I did the last ones in pink. Let's do purple. Sure, why not? Oh, that's kind of hard to read. Hold on a second. That's better. All right, and our second color is going to be 27, peach tea. Mark that in this lavender, not that dark purple. And 76. Yeah, I thought 76 sounded familiar. So this is the first time we're going to have to do another generation. Number 66. Venusaur. Ooh, yeah, very, just very unctuous color palette. Let's see what I come up with for these characters. First up, of course, we have Gingerbread, and this character, I just created it based on the name of the color palette, since, again, going back to non-themed characters, or at least not doing a particular series of characters. So with this one, I just created a character based on the colors that were here. Very much gingerbread house with all of the candy, and of course I did add in a white cream color to do some frosting detail on her outfit later on in the video. But for now, I'm just getting this sketch out. This portion of the video is a little bit longer than the rest of the video, mainly because I wanted to leave more in so that you can see all of the iterations of the character design, such as I change her face a couple of times, I change her skirt, because if I had left it with the initial skirt design, you wouldn't be able to see the bottom of the shoe, and I intentionally wanted you to be able to see the bottom of her shoes so that you could see that they were like little snow boots that have little sticky gumdrops on the bottom. There's just a lot of this Christmas cookie gumdrop motif all throughout, and she's just a super cute character. And I kind of had the idea of doing something in the vein of, there's this cookie mobile game out there that has all these really cute characters. It's not quite like this. It's like if that game blended with Genshin Impact style of character, and I came up with this. And I also kind of had in mind that she was kind of a fighter, similar to, I believe it was maybe color palette number 2 or 3 that I did way back in the beginning of this series. With, it was a pastel character, and she had a giant lollipop with a band-aid on it. And so I kind of want to do a piece with the 2 of those characters in like a pick your character versus screen. No promises, but like it's a very strong possibility that that's gonna happen. If I don't post a drawing video on here, it will at least show up on my Instagram at some point. So yeah, anyway, obviously going in, I knew exactly what I wanted this character to look like, and I use a poser because I couldn't find a good reference for the pose. Other than that, everything just really fell into place. And another reason this is longer than the other 2 is because she has a lot more detail. The other 2 characters are relatively simple, and I'll get into that as the video goes on, describing my thought process behind those other 2 characters. But with this one, I, again, really wanted to decorate her in the style of like a gingerbread cookie or a gingerbread house. So there's a lot of icing and fluff and decorations and just a lot of little places for me to include these colors and to just make her really bright and colorful, because the base of her outfit is that sort of nutty generic gingerbread color, and then everything else is to accentuate that. For her skin tone, I chose a very nice warm cinnamon color that would pair well with the purple and the red, that sort of raspberry red in the color palette, instead of going with a more like yellow brown, because obviously her outfit is more leaning towards a yellow brown, so I wanted it to complement the colors that were in there. She's like a little toasty little cookie, and yeah, anyway. I thought about what else I could do to vamp while this character is on screen, because it's got about another minute or so of drawing and coloring footage. Thinking about maybe like, giving history of like where gingerbread came from, but that's time and place. It's not this. That's too boring for this. So I'll just kind of let the rest of it play out, and just enjoy the rest of this cute little gingerbread fighter, and I'll come back when the second character is on screen. So this is character number 35, Gingerbread, and yes, I did change the gloves from brown to red to match her boots. But moving on to character number 36, Peach Tea. Now, coming up with an idea for this one was very difficult, because realistically I only have about 3 colors to work with instead of 5 colors, because 2 of them are just lighter iterations of 2 of the other colors. And so I went ahead and finished characters 35 and 37, and just kind of looked at a bunch of different Pinterest boards of like peach colored things, and I just had to marinate for a few days before it finally came to me. Let's do a little Bubble Witch, because the colors are kind of like fun and bubbly. And when I was thinking peach tea, I was also thinking peach boba, which I know is a completely different drink. Don't come for me. But boba made me think bubbles, and so that led me down to the path of doing like a little goo girl or a slime girl or a bubble witch. So we're doing a little Bubble Witch. I think she has the proper amount of mischievous little scamp energy that you would expect from something that's like cute and fun and bubbly, but also labeled a witch, which typically witches are known to cause a little bit of mischief now and then. And I don't know if this was just embedded in my subconscious, or maybe it's just chubby little face with cat features, but she ends up, in my opinion, kind of looking a little bit like Nimona. Also, if you haven't seen Nimona on Netflix, it's really fun. Go watch it. But she just has this like little scampy cat energy, and I'm pleasantly surprised with how how easy it was for me to execute this character once I figured out what I wanted to do with it. There were a couple of editing decisions that I left out. Like there's a part where I was trying to give the bubbles sort of like a magical halo and it didn't work out, so I cut that out of the video because there's actually quite a few things where I just cut things out. It's not a finalized decision, so I figured I don't need to leave it in the video. Unless it's something that I can leave in for a teachable moment, like if it's a design element that doesn't necessarily work with the overall design, but it's something I can show you guys how to do as far as using the program for effects and things like that. But this was just kind of an overall bad decision. Honestly, I probably should have cut this lip gloss bit out too, but that's the thing, is that you see some things where I play around and some things I just end up cutting out. So now we're moving on to the first part of finalizing this character, is doing the hair and the hat and all of the other little bubbly sort of things. And I've explained how to do this technique. You basically just erase out with a soft brush and go back over with a hard brush. It's very simple, very effective. You can do it with any color, any size brush, and it's just a really quick way to do bubbly, shiny slime effects. Picking patterns for this character's outfit is where I kind of edge into getting very dangerously close to doing too much. But I felt that the apron, just having a plain pink apron with the cat on it, was too simple, so I just do a little bit of simple striping, and with the layer effect having a blue outline, so kind of the same thing I did with the sprinkles a few characters back, many characters back, and have it do the auto outline to kind of have a pop, because the orange next to the pink wasn't doing much, so I used the blue to separate it. And then simple shading, just copy the color layer, set it to multiply, change it to a color, and then just cut out where you want your lights to be. And that is the end of character number 36, the little bubble witch. And now we're moving on to the last character for today's video, number 37, with the color palette of Venusaur. This very soft, gentle, earthy color palette. So of course I did a very soft, gentle, earthy character. And as you can see on my canvas, I have plenty of different plant references, because when I actually pulled up Venusaur, the Pokemon, the colors are a little more pink and green than orange and green, so I just stick with using plants, and then anywhere where there's red in the plant, I substitute that for the orange, and it has the same effect. This character is basically how I feel about my plants. I have a little garden in the front yard of our house, and I like going out there and making sure my little plant babies are okay. So this is not me. Obviously she looks a little different than I do, but this is just kind of evoking that soft feeling of being amongst greenery and just breathing in the freshness of everything. So I've abandoned posting these characters to my Twitter account. Instead, I've gone to posting them on Instagram, because there's sort of more fail safes put in place for people stealing things from Instagram, as far as getting high res images from there. But when I posted this one, I put a huge disclaimer about people stealing this image in particular, because my art is kind of weird. I won't call it niche necessarily, but it's, you know, not something that typically people would go out of their way to steal. This image, as far as what I typically produce, is a little more Etsy friendly, we'll call it. Pinterest, Tumblr, Etsy, that sort of art, where it's generic enough that someone would probably steal it and put it on bags or t-shirts or stickers. So if you see this anywhere that's not on my Instagram, please let me know. I don't think I'm a big enough artist that someone would go out of their way to steal from me, but people have stolen from small artists. Like, actually, people typically do like to steal from small artists as well because they have a smaller audience, so it's harder to catch art theft. And typically smaller artists don't have the means and the backing to legally do anything. But here's the caveat. I do. So if I catch you stealing my art, I will take action. And if anybody sees this floating around in the ether, please let me know. Please and thank you. Back to the chill vibes. Didn't mean to harsh the vibe there because I really wanted to finish this video with just like a nice easy breezy time with this easy breezy character, but that needed to be said because I just have a feeling in my art bones that this is going to be floating around somewhere in the next couple of years, and I just want to get ahead of that. So we're at the end of today's video, and I hope you have enjoyed this next installation of the color palette challenge. Until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Have a weird day.